Well. I knew one guy was showing up. I didn't realize the other guy was showing up. Let me see if I'm ready for this guy. Yeah, you know what? I wrote down some notes here for the Cowboy guy. And I also wrote down some notes for my boy, Philly.500. You guys so asked, too. Hey, is Mark coming on? I'm like, I don't know, man. This guy's starting to look like Jerry Jones. All of a sudden, he's starting to blame everyone else for the shitty season the Cowboys are having. I don't know. I think he thought you guys were going to pile drive him, too, today. You know, the Cowboys are 3-3. As I told you, man, this thing's got like the Exxon Valdez leak on it right now. Wait till 4 weeks happen from now. That thing's going to be hemorrhaging like he was on a battlefield. All that said, I got to hand it to him. I got to hand it to this guy. The great Mark Holmes and the great Philly.500 are here, as always. How you doing, fellas?
Doing great. How are you?
You know what? Hello, world. Can I clear something up before we mix this whole thing up?
Please.
Dan, I just turned 59 last week. Okay.
Congratulations to you.
Yeah, I can't believe I've made it.
This guy's always working an angle.
No. But see, you and I, Dan, are about the same age, right?
Yes.
And see, maybe you're getting a little dementia, or maybe things just aren't, lining up. Because I sent you a text this morning, and I said, morning, like I always do. And you said, are we good for the day? I said, I am, but I'm not sure about Philly.500.
Oh, I took that as I wasn't sure that you were in the mood to come on and talk about your shitty Cowboys.
You know what? Let me get close to the camera here.
Mistake.
Let me clarify something. There's nothing that you guys can do to me to make me feel worse about my team that Jerry and Stephen Jones haven't already done to me. Okay? In fact, I will say that this is therapeutical because this reminds me not to fall into the trap of the delusion of thinking that the Cowboys are actually going to do something. This is my reality check, and this is my therapy.
Are you kind of throwing out there that now that delusion is not part of your MO anymore right now because you kind of know who you are? You are saying that Eagle fans, are you implying, are in delusion because they beat the Browns and the shitty Giants? Is that what you're saying?
Well, see, here's what I knew I was facing today was the circle jerk of Eagle fans that thinking they're headed for the Super Bowl because they ended up getting, beating the Cleveland Browns and all that are completely more dysfunctional than the Dallas Cowboys. But that's cool. I'm okay. Feel good, Eagle fans, because, the higher you go, the harder it is when you fall.
What a load of crap. What a load of crap.
Billy,
this guy, when they beat Cleveland Browns week 1, Cleveland Browns, they're better than the Green Bay Packers. I believe he said that on this show, matter of fact.
I did not say they were better than the Green Bay.
They're better than Cleveland Browns. They got a defense.
He was crowing.
But okay.
And they beat the Giants on a Thursday. He starts the show. Hey, friends, Mark Holmes.
Hey,
buddy, he's all happy. You barely beat the Giants.
Okay,
wow.
We did beat the Steelers in Pittsburgh, and you got to look at the Steelers and say that they're playing pretty good right now.
But my point is that when the Cowboys win, it's okay for Mark to go to ultra delusional standards. But God forbid the Eagles win a game and look good. We're not allowed to pat ourselves on the back.
Okay.
Give it a little bit.
By definition,
he knows. Look at his face. He knows.
Philly, by definition, that's called being a hater. We know I hate it. I'm a hater of the Eagles in the same way you are.
I get it.
Mark, let me ask Philly.500 this. Well, Philly, how are you feeling after the last 8 quarters of football? Going into this Cincinnati game, how do you feel about your Birds going into this game? Mark had a great week last week. Cowboys won. They didn't have a game. Go ahead.
We still lost. We still lost.
In a way, I'll get to it.
I feel. I mean, I feel good about some things, especially that happened in the Giants game. The question now that I have, and I wonder, is will they keep doing it? Like I look at last week and I said, man, if you want to win games and you want to be competitive in the NFC, you found your identity. This is how you will win a lot of football games if you're the Eagles. The question I have now is, will they stick to it? Will they stick to coming out and being a smash mouth football team that will run the ball, especially early in the game, improve on that first quarter and, build up a lead that way, work off the run game, work off the play action, things like that. Will they do that? Will they commit to that? Because this team can do that and win a lot of games. And I think it would help the defense. That's my issue right now. Will they do it? And I agree. I don't think they will. I think they'll come out and they'll throw 40 times to start next game. And that's what worries me. But I thought there were some really good signs that came out of both games,
All right.
Especially the Giants game.
All right. I'll get back to that. I want to go over to Mark now and throw this at him. So, Mark, help me out here. Saquon Barkley is second and only 50 yards behind Derrick Henry, who's on pace for 2,100 yards and owns 2 homes in Dallas. Let me just take those two guys off the board. You had Aaron Jones, who's annihilating teams in Minnesota. You arguably had the greatest free agent market in the history of running backs. You want to hear something, Philly? The Cowboys, I think, are averaging like 77 yards rushing. You know what average is in the league? It's 123 yards. That's average.
Who's the running back again?
It's
Oliver,
Ricky Ricardo, some dude.
Yeah.
So tell me this, Mark, how in the world do you pass on a running back and you sign a relic in Zeke in the greatest free agency era offseason in NFL history? How are you looking at that Derrick Henry non-move now? He's on pace for 2195 and 22 touchdowns.
I had an epiphany today, okay, that I realized that it's really not about women. I honestly do. Jerry Jones had went up first was saying, we couldn't afford the guy. And you're sitting here looking at Trey Lance at $5.3 million and bringing back Zeke and all these things and realize how stupid that sounds. He followed it up yesterday with he didn't fit what we're trying to do because if you pay Derrick Henry, you got to run Derrick Henry a lot. And I'm sitting here looking and thinking that he had 16 rushes for 167 yards on Monday night game. And you realize how stupid Jerry is, where he's just selling you bullshit. I don't know how. I wish I had an answer for that. That he literally figured that Zeke Elliott was ours 2 years ago. He's overpaid and not doing it. But we can bring him back now that he's in worse shape, and we're going to win it all.
How about this, Mark? When he makes a comment that he doesn't fit, that's like saying a chick with giant cans and great legs is not for everyone.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? I mean, I mean, dude, she's everyone's type of guy.
You find a guy, you get somebody like that, you find a way to make it work.
You find a way to make it work. A chick with giant cans and a great ass and great legs, she's everyone's type. Okay? Yep. That guy, for him saying that, he's now going to look at potentially finding a scapegoat here. And so
that's already going on.
Is it going to be Mike McCarthy here? Does he survive the year?
Here's what we've got going on right now. We have a circular firing squad, or maybe you want to call it used to be a circle jerk, I guess. I don't know. Mark, but what's going on? What's going on is, so now you have Jerry saying that, he didn't fit and all that. Now he's talking about the play calling. So then you get Mike McCarthy who's saying, no, there's not a problem with our play calling. Now it's practice. And now you're going to the players where Jordan Lewis is kind of like, it's a big distraction where we have all these tours and we're in there lifting weights and we got people knocking on the glass like, it's feeding time at the zoo. So nobody is taking responsibility for everything. Everybody, I'm good. Everybody's pointing the finger at somebody else.
Mark, that shit went on Mark, that shit went on at Valley Ranch when we were working out outside. Fans would come by and watch, and they won 3 Super Bowls. Okay. That shit went on back then. This comes down to Jerry Jones, the last 30 years, being the worst general manager in 30
Best
years.
general manager. Best general manager.
Well,
Best
no.
general manager.
Here's what you got to look at. He's the worst general manager as far as winning, but he's winning in the publicity area and making money. He's making money hand over fist. The question is
5,000 years.
How much money do you need to make? At some point, you got to say, I got enough. I'm 82 years old.
He said
let's worry about winning one more ring.
No. What he said was, Philly, you know what he said? 3 Super Bowls is enough for my legacy. The rest of it is about building the brand up because he bought the team for 100. Hey, however you want to look at the chapter, sometimes the best part of the book is the beginning. Sometimes it's the end. Sometimes it's the middle. Jerry Jones's book is complete almost because he built the 3 Super. Hey, he did more than Landry. He did more than Tex Schramm. He did more than all those guys, and he tripled the. Hey, his story's complete. The problem is that Cowboy fans think that this guy's still looking for one more over the rainbow ring, and it's not happening. Okay, let me get over to Philly here. This week he got Joe Burrow, dude. He's 9th in offense right now. He's got 14 touchdowns and 2 picks. He's clearly the best quarterback that the Eagles are going to face. Are you buying your defense right now when you got to play? And by the way, forget this, Mark. The Eagles are 2.5-point underdogs in this game to a 3-4 Bengals team.
Ouch.
I don't know. I mean, I think you gotta. I think in defense, I think you have to go out and be able to show that you can do things multiple weeks. So I need to see them do it again. I mean, let's face it. They did play Sean Watson and Daniel Jones. I mean, 2 really stinky quarterbacks. I mean, come on, they stink. Burrow's a different animal. The Bengals they start slow, but they always seem to come on, as the year progresses. And if you look at the games, like especially the last 2 times we played the Bengals, always weird things happen in those games. I like what we've seen from the pass rush the last 2 weeks, but I need to see more. I still need to see more.
Mark, over to you now. Who would you rather see as the head coach of the Dallas Cowboys at the end of this year? John Gruden? Eric Allen hopes he gets another opportunity. By the way, he said that on the program yesterday. And I'll talk to you, Philly, about Eric here in a minute. Or would you rather see a 72-year-old Bill Belichick? Because I'm going to make a point to you on something here about Gruden. If Gruden didn't have the emails, would he be making $20 million a year right now, one of the highest paid coaches in the National Football League? And would there be teams all over him right now? Yes. He had $120 million. He had a $120 million contract with the Raiders. He had a $90 million contract when he was with the Buccaneers, and they made 3 draft choices for first rounds for him. You're not talking about a bad coach here, dude. You're talking about a guy who knows how to win. He built 2 Super Bowl teams at one time. He built the Raiders, and then Raider team he played, he was the head coach for 6 years.
I'll give you that one.
And then he turned around and added 22 different guys to that Dungy offense. That's why Dungy got fired and they won a Super Bowl. Dude, John Gruden,
they have the basics already there for that. Here's the thing that happens with John Gruden, or gives me pause, is once that group got old, he wasn't good at rebuilding. And when he went to the Raiders, that was a complete rebuild. You have to kind of question some of the moves that he made there with the team and so on. He just could not.
Well, he's not going to have that control in Dallas anyway. Gary's going to control.
Then let's go to the real reality of all of this. It doesn't matter who the coach is, because as long as you have Jerry and Stephen Jones that are sitting here saying we believe in our own guys. 2 weeks ago we had Jerry literally talking about Ryan Fauntleroy. We lose a wide receiver, and Brandon Cooks. Exactly.
No, the other guy.
Ryan Fauntleroy. Ryan Fauntleroy. Here's where Jerry does all of his sales job. Jerry literally goes in, we don't need to go get anybody with Brandon Cooks because we got 6th-round pick Ryan Fauntleroy. And I'm going to tell you, that guy, I can't wait to see his first catch. And he has some Dez Bryant in him. He finally got his first catch last week against the Lions and proceeded to fumble it.
Hey, Sills, can I say something about the Cowboys?
Does it really matter who the coach is as long as Steven and Jerry are figuring we're just going to build through the draft? In the last 2 years, your draft has not done much to help the team. So anybody who comes in here, they're screwed.
Go ahead, Philly.
I think Jerry Jones wants to blow this whole thing. I think this is all on purpose. I think Jerry Jones wants this team blown up, the current guys that they have. I don't think he wanted to pay Dak. I don't think he wanted to have him paid that much money. And I think he's pulling a major league. I think he's Shanghaiing the whole thing, and he's screwing the whole season. I mean, how are you sure in the NFL that to not win a lot of games, you can't stop the run and you can't run the ball? I mean, the two things you can't do. And they can't do that. They're fundamentally flawed. I think there's more going on. I think Jerry is blowing this thing up on purpose.
But it looks to me, Philly, like he's losing it here. I mean,
there you go.
I think he's losing it at 82. But I want to say this to you.
Maybe.
How about this here, though, Philly? I'm going to use what Mark said to me just a couple minutes ago, and Ted said to all of us here. This is Jerry Jones thing here. Well, when you look at the way the organization in Philadelphia operates, do you believe this? I said this earlier. The Philadelphia Eagles, just like the Dallas Cowboys, believe that you win Super Bowls with a general manager and a front office / owner. Mm-hmm. Well, the great places win with coaching and players. Mm-hmm. They don't operate in Philly like that. They don't operate in Dallas like that. Look at the places that operate like that. They operate in Baltimore like that. John Harbaugh, personnel decisions with the players on the field that they draft and they coach. Look at the coaches they've had roll through there. Look at Kansas City. It's an Andy Reid operation. Shit, look at the Rams even. It's a Sean McVay operation. Look at Green Bay. Green Bay's had 3 quarterbacks in almost 40 years. Yeah. Do you think that that's their fundamental flaw that they have? Look, they're a good organization. They're just not a championship organization. You have one to boot there for it, and it's because the owner believes that you win Super Bowls through the front office with a general manager and with an owner, and that's been the issue in Philly. You buying that?
Yeah, to some extent I do. I think the Chip Kelly thing really messed them up, right? Because they were willing to give Chip Kelly full power, full control, and it didn't work out. So it wasn't like they were always opposed to it. And then you had all those years of Andy Reid before Howie really got in power. Andy Reid had all the power. So I think that the Chip Kelly thing really affected them. And I think it's a situation now where Howie is never going to put himself in a position where he's getting a coach who's going to challenge him on any level. At least we haven't seen it. I don't think he's ever going to want to be put in the boiler room again. So I think that this is a problem that comes up, especially when you don't see your draft picks working. You don't see certain things going good. However, the opposite I'll say is that I know every offseason this team is going to go out and try to get better and try to win. So there's good and bad on both sides of it, I think. But,
absolutely, man. That's the difference there at the end. They do take their swings. I got to say this to you, Mark. And Mark, this is all seriousness. Mm-hmm. Cowboy fans are in a really awful place. Oh. And I'll tell you why. You're right. No matter who you hire as a coach, assistant coach, no matter who you hire as a coordinator, and to some extent, no matter who you draft, you're always going to overthink them, always over-evaluate them, because the owner believes that his decisions are the Tiffany standard in the NFL. And the problem is the owner's delusional. Your fans aren't. He's delusional. He sets you guys up every fucking year for massive failure. And until that guy dies, your situation is going to be the same. It's the revolving shithouse, the toilet that never flushes. Dude,
hey,
Cowboy fans, Cowboy fans aren't they're delusional because the owner sets them up every year to be delusional.
No. They're delusional.
You know,
they can't help it. It's already in them. Because you know why they're delusional? Because they think that they're God's gift to football. They literally think that they're the great. They literally call themselves America's team. You have nothing to do in America. You're in Dallas. You want a real America's team? How about the birthplace of America? Come on. I mean, Dallas. Come on.
You know, I see you trying to throw salt in the wounds, Philly. Sitting here, sending me pictures while we're on live here of Derrick Henry.
I just want to remind you.
Okay.
Wow.
You know,
what a shot.
Show them pictures. Show them pictures.
Wait a minute. Philly,
he's literally texting me pictures of Derrick Henry right now.
Show him.
Let me see that. Let me see that again here.
Look,
holy shit.
Look.
I'm just trying to remind
Philly, he just said that.
I
Holy,
said like 12.
He like, yeah, a whole
shot across
it goes
the
on
bow.
and on. He's
You
just
think I'm being quiet on purpose here? I'm
okay, but all jokes aside, we are in hell as Cowboy fans because I think we actually care about the Cowboys more than the Joneses do. In the same way that the players out there are the zoo to entertain the masses and make more money off of, Jerry kind of gave you a window into his thinking when he went off on the guys last week on 105 The Fan. When he literally said, I don't expect people that I pay to question me. And if he's going to go off on radio people like that, then who in there has a voice on Jerry doing Jerry Jones things?
It's a great
and this is a case of, is this now Al Davis 2.0?
No, Al Davis hired quality people like Ron Wolf and Ken Herrick to build his 3-time Super Bowl champion.
No, I'm talking about the last.
What happened with him at the end was, I told Al this personally. You're too much in the courtroom and not enough on the football field the last 15 years of his existence owning the team, because he was constantly battling Pete Rozelle and then at the end, Paul Tagliabue. So his time at the end was more in the courtroom. But Jerry Jones is no Al Davis. Al was actually an NFL coach at one time. He inducted Lance Allworth into the Hall of Fame when he was a wide receiver coach with the Chargers. He was the AFL Coach of the Year when they won the AFL. Then he became the commissioner of the league, and then he became the managing general partner. Jerry Jones is a wannabe Al Davis. Well, he's not. He's a cheap man's version of Al. But again, his greatest moment was hiring of Jimmy.
It was.
And he's never duplicated
ever
it
since
again.
hiring him, he has been on a quest to basically prove that he is the one, and he will never admit that he made a mistake there. And when you sit here and you look and say that Loomis is the oldest GM at 66,
Mickey Loomis?
Yeah. The next oldest is 60. The average age of most GMs is like 46 and a half years old. You got Jerry Jones, 82, who's not only trying to run the Cowboys, he's into Grand Prix and World Cup soccer. There's no way in the world that you can be a part-time GM and think that you're going to be able to do it credibly. And the moves bear this out that he keeps making. It makes no sense.
All right.
A
couple last questions for you guys. Philly, Eric Allen. I know Jerome's your guy. We had him on yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
He criticized Paul Domowitz for being I threw this in, and he kind of corroborated it. I think he's a shitty presenter on trying to put him in the Hall of Fame, and that there's numerous other guys. And Paul is your Philadelphia Hall of Fame presenter for your players. He doesn't have a lot of energy. And again, like a guy like Clyde Simmons or even Donovan McNabb. I'll guarantee you this. I'll make a point to you here. Do you agree too, Mark? I guarantee Jerry Jones has enough power and has enough push. Tony Romo may not get in the Hall of Fame, but Tony Romo's going to be considered. You know why? Look at the media right now. You got Michael Irvin involved in it. You got Troy Aikman involved in it. You got Jason Garrett involved in it. You got Romo, Aikman. Dude, this guy has got a lot of push in the media to elevate people's careers. And you're going to look at Tony Romo differently. If you look at, they're going to try to put him in the same category as, say, a Phillip Rivers. Rivers never won either.
Yeah,
okay,
but
he won a little bit
Rivers,
more.
I don't think is a Hall of Famer either.
I do think he is. Okay, but they're going to try to
look at the
I
era,
didn't say that. I didn't say Romo's going in. I said they're going to.
Look, I'm a Cowboy fan, and I don't think he deserves to be in there.
But wait, my point is McNabb's a better player and will get no consideration.
Yeah.
How do you feel about that conversation me and Eric had yesterday about getting in to the Pro Football Hall of Fame? And what's your take on Eric Allen?
Which one, Mark or me?
You.
Oh, I mean, Eric Allen to me is one of the most complete corners I've ever seen. I think Eric Allen should have been in there a long time ago. And I think it's a crime. I never knew why he might not be getting in, but if he's not got a presenter that's really passionately talking for him, that's really a shame, because I mean, this guy was good for a long time, not just with the Eagles, but you're talking with the Raiders, with the Saints. Yep. He was good, and he was one of the best tackling corners I've ever seen.
54 INTs.
I mean, he has one of the greatest interception returns for a touchdown versus the Jets. I'll never forget it. Randall Cunningham sitting in the end zone. He hands off to him. I mean, Eric Allen is one of the all-time greats, and he deserves to be in. And to me, I think if he was on any other team, especially if he was on Dallas,
if he was on Dallas, he's already. But then again, they got a guy that they're fighting for.
Woodson should be in there.
Woodson should be.
Look how fast your boy Michael Irvin got in there, and look how long it took Art Monk to get in.
Yeah,
but Art. Okay, you got Art 3 Monk rings. You got 3 rings with Michael Irvin. Art Monk in the playoffs. There's not much there with him in the playoffs. No, honestly,
Art Monk have 2.
Art Monk's got 2-3 rings too.
He's got 2 rings, but if you look at his numbers in the playoffs, one year he was injured. That was
Art Monk was better than Drew Pearson.
What was his statistic? Like, didn't he go some ridiculous amount of games with a catch?
When he retired, I think he retired. Hey, Philly, when he retired, I thought he was the all-time catch guy.
Yeah,
and yardage guy, Art Monk.
And I hate Washington, but man, I don't know how that guy could not get in. So I think it does depend on where you play. And I think Eric Allen should be in. And to me, it's a crime that he's not in. He's one of the best corners I've seen. And you know how is when you talk to rival fan base who've watched the Eagles a long time, they always bring up how great Eric Allen was.
Yeah, absolutely.
Always.
And Deion Sanders,
I'd make no argument on that one.
Hey, Deion Sanders says he should have went in. He should have went in before him. But by the way, Mark, for you, I think Darren Woodson too, man.
He should.
I think sometimes you fall through the cracks because Darren Woodson was on a football team that had so many great football players on it. That think about this, for instance, on that defensive side during that 3-time Super Bowl run, how many players who have ever gone through that reign have made it to the Pro Football Hall of Fame? Sanders was on one of those teams.
Yep.
Charles Haley was on 3 of those teams.
Yep.
Okay. Can you name me another guy who made the Hall of Fame? No, I'm talking defensively.
Defensively. That defense was so good all the way around. But see, Woodson is the all-time.
They were number 1 in the league.
Yeah, but he was number 1 in the Cowboys in tackles, part of those 3 teams.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is, how come there's no more? All your guys were on offense. Why? Because of TV. And Billy, that defense that Dave Wannstedt and Jimmy and them had, they were number 1 across the board. I think 3 of the 5 years that they were there. And you've only got 2 guys that ever played on that side of the ball.
Dude, I want to trash that team so bad. I hate
you did.
Some of my worst years in life were those years.
It wasn't
you hate
just
that team?
one guy.
I hate that team. To me, that team was about that offensive line. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, Mark.
By the way,
that greatest offensive line I've ever seen.
Philly, just for Mark, about 3 days ago, I had the offensive line coach that was the coach of that team, Tony Wise, on here. And he was talking about all those guys, Stebnowski and all that, and how great that offensive line was.
Oh, geez. He made those guys.
He did, because they were most of them were Landry guys.
Yeah, there were no first-round draft picks.
No.
I mean, some of those guys. Look, Stebnowski was a guard.
Yeah.
Nate Newton was let go by the command Washington because they said
remember too, he was a USFL guy.
Yeah, he took those guys, and that's where Jimmy. See, that was the greatness of Jimmy Johnson, was he found the right coaches to put them in position to succeed. He found guys that could make these guys, coach them into being great. It wasn't all just big name players that they made great.
Okay, finally here. Mark, who do you play this weekend?
We play the crippled San Francisco 49ers. If we do not beat San Francisco this week,
you ain't winning. Don't even try.
I tell you what, they are hurting bad. You got Debo, who just got out of the hospital with pneumonia. Ayuk is got torn ACL. Right there. You've got Christian McCaffrey, who's just beginning to get into the swimming pool. Brock Purdy went from 113 rating last year to a 91.
If you're trying to sell me insurance,
I'm just saying. Listen, I don't know if we can win this or not, but if they can't win now, they never will. They never will. They need to finish him. We need to end San Francisco's season right here.
Hey, don't feel bad. I thought he was trying to sell me insurance for a second. Okay, all right. So are they winning? Yes or no?
I'm going to say yes. That this is because see. Here's the reason why I'm going to tell you why they're going to win, because it would be the most Cowboys thing ever, because of all the shit that has hit the fan, all of the shit that's hit the fan now, all of it would be forgotten next week. Okay? And it gives Jerry Jones a pass and all that, and we forget about it. We all get back to we the boys. We beat San Francisco. We going to the Super Bowl, because you know how Cowboy fans are. And in the end, we'll still be some bullshit.
You'll be 4-3. Hey,
you're gonna lose.
How about you? By the way, bet US for all three of us here on that game.
Amen on that one.
Hey, how about this here, Philly? Bengals, you're 2.5-point dogs going in.
It's going to end in a tie. It's going to end in a tie. every time we play the Bengals,
end in a tie.
Every time we play the Bengals, it's a tie. Like
you've never won in Cincinnati.
I'm telling you, as long as I remember watching the Eagles play the Bengals, it's always a weird game. It's always weird. So I think. I mean, listen. If the Eagles come out and run the ball like they did last week, I think they got a good chance. Otherwise, it's going to be a tie. It's going to be like the third tie in a row. I think the last two games have been ties. I'm not even kidding. So, I mean, we'll see. We'll see. They flexed us out of it. But I'll say Mark should be happy, though. Jerry Jones just went to the doctor, and they said he's got the body and the mind of a 32-year-old. So he's going to be there for a long time.
Hey, remember this, man. That guy is the king of toilets and babes. Remember that, dude. That's why he acts like he's 32. I'd rather take a paternity test than trade away Michael Parsons. How you doing? That's the owner of the Dallas Cowboys.
Oh, yeah.
Dude. Congratulations, Big Mark. Tell folks. By the way, my misread, I apologize. I thought, man, hey, maybe I am slipping in my age here.
I know I am. Okay, trust me. I know I am.
Maybe I'm slipping there. Thank you so much. Mark, tell folks how they can find you, brother.
You can always find me on Wednesdays unless Big Salils screws the pooch on here.
Yeah, but wait, Philly.500 says he can catch you any day, Monday through Friday, eating a ham sandwich on your channel.
Oh, Lordy. You know what? But I tell you what, you can always find me with Cowboy Joe Boo on anything. But let me just do one thing here once I get out of here.
Say it.
Mute him. Just mute him. Just mute him. Just mute him.
Are you farting?
Oh, what the hell is he doing? Dude's a nut. The guy's. I think he's trying to take a dump on. What is he doing?
That's you, bro.
Hey,
you're always talking about.
You got me. He got me.
Philly.
I have no idea what the hell he's talking about.
How
Biden over here.
How the folks can find you, brother?
Just type in Philly.500. I'll come right up.
Pause.
I literally didn't hear anything.
Hey, seriously, Philly told me, man, you eat bratwurst sandwiches on your channel every day.
Chili, bratwurst, wings.
I tell you what,
I did. A pig.
Hold on.
It's like every quarter is another meal. It's like 5 Thanksgivings. I literally
did a 16-hour live stream, bro, where the Cowboys played the Steelers. So, I got to get lunch in and dinner in and everything else, man. So I'm here dedicated to the fans, bringing them all the content. Sundays, I stream all day long.
There's hey, let me get a quick meal real quick, guys. I'll be right back. And hey, look what we're eating here.
Let me eat some pig's feet. There you go.
But I got my cooking channel, so I got to show you the delicious food that we have there.
Guys, nuts.
Oh my God, let me get the hell out of here, guys. I love you too, man. You guys are awesome. Mark, I won't shoot the pooch next week. Thank you guys so much. Make sure you check those fabulous channels out. These guys are so important to the show. We love them so much. Thank you, guys.
Peace.
You got it.
Thank you.
Mark Holmes and Philly.500. Love those guys, man. Do me a favor, guys. Hit the like button. We're going to reset here. Interesting. I tell you what, I give Mark a lot of credit. You know why? Because what I told him is true about Cowboys. Jerry Jones is chasing. Now we got Halloween coming up. He's chasing this Jimmy Johnson ghost that's been there for 30 years. Ooh, Jerry. I'm the one that made all the moves. You want to take credit for Charles Haley? That's not true. You wanted to take credit for all of those basic moves and Charles Haley moves and all of that? That was me, not you. And now the media, because they got him in their back pocket, like Mark said, he could tell a guy sitting there on a local FM station to shut the fuck up or I'll get you replaced. You see, you couldn't tell that to Jimmy because Jimmy would turn around and look at Jerry and say, get the fuck off my field. Could you imagine Jerry Jones landing a helicopter on Jimmy Johnson's practice field? He'd have took a bazooka to it. Hit the like button. Keep it here. National Football Show.
If you missed any of today's show on the JAKIB Media channel, listen to the podcast on your way home. Available on YouTube, Apple, and Spotify.